Konnichiwa, Redbirds. I know it's been a long time since we talked. It is the middle of my second week here in Japan. I wanted to make this video earlier, but I lost my voice last weekend and I'm just starting to get it back. Today, I would like to talk to you guys about some of the cultural differences that I've noticed since I came to Japan, things that may be surprising to us Americans, and just some things that are a little different. One of the most prominent life altering, I don't know, something that I thought right away was very different. It was one of the first things I noticed, even though I was mentally prepared for it. It's just a physical thing, and that's the toilets. The restrooms here in Japan are usually a toilet and a sink or a toilet sink combination, and they have a lot more buttons than we do in the US. In the US, I know most of us just have the little lever. Some go up and down. Here there are a lot of buttons, and I'll go ahead and put in a couple pictures of that so you guys can see. But yeah, it was really different. I went to the airport right away when we landed in Tokyo because we had another flight, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just go to the bathroom quickly. Yeah, that was something that immediately you are no longer in the United States. So that's one of the little differences. So here are some pictures of Japanese toilets. These are my host family's homes. This one is my first host family, and this is my second host family. This is also the sink that you wash your hands in at the top of the toilet. Another difference that I really noticed right away was everything is on the left. Now this doesn't seem like it's going to be a big deal, but we realized quickly, Corey, Grant, and I, the three of us that are on this trip together, realized very quickly that we have been trained since we were little to always go to the right, whereas everything now is on the left. So you're walking on the sidewalk, walk on the left. If you're riding your bike, walk to the left. If somebody's coming at you, you actually walk on the left and they walk on their left, rather than us walking on right and right. You go up the stairs, this one I'm not sure about. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be on the left, but almost everyone goes to the right. So no matter what we do, it's always supposed to be the left. And that's something that it was something you never had to think about in the United States because everything has just always been the right. And so that was another thing that took a little bit to get used to, and I'm still not sure that we do it right every time. But yeah, number 2, that would be everything's on the left. Left, left, left. Another cultural difference that I noticed pretty quickly was the garbage situation. So in Japan, there is not a lot of open space, so they don't dedicate very much to landfills, so they like to recycle and keep their cities very clean. So you don't see garbage cans in a lot of places. It took me until the end of the first week to figure out where my host family's garbage can was. And even when I would ask at the university, they were hard to find. So that would be one thing, and they also recycle a lot. So they will use a garbage can for burnables, so like paper. They have one for non-burnables like plastic. They have extra food waste. They have cardboard. They have aluminum. So every house has about 3 to 4 garbage cans in the kitchen area that they sort out everything by. And that was something that in the US we didn't really do very much of, at least where I'm from. And so yeah, it was a lot of sorting, and they're hard to find. They're hidden. All of the garbage cans are hidden, and there's none in public. So if you have garbage, like I've had wrappers from food when we're walking on the street, you actually have to hold on to them until you get home and then find the garbage can at home and put them in there. So that was very different. It's a very clean area. Getting into some bigger cultural differences, some other things I've noticed are just the ritualistic atmosphere, the ritualistic culture. So there's a few things that I've learned that are very ritualistic in Japan. There are things you say at certain points of the day, and you always say them. So in the morning, it's always Ohayou gozaimasu, which means good morning. Every time you get up, anytime you see somebody new in the morning, see somebody on the street, you tell them good morning. Another one is when you come home, you say tadaima, and it means I'm home, and then they respond, and that's every time. Anytime somebody leaves and comes back, you say this. And so that was a very different thing. I know I probably say similar things in the United States, but it's not as ritualistic in my head. That could be because I am an outsider looking in here. but it's so uniform. Everyone does that, no matter which host family's house I'm at or no matter which university class I'm going to, everyone says the same things. After you meet someone, you immediately say, dozo yoroshiku onegaishimasu, which means it is nice to meet you. So every time it is so set forth in their culture for them to follow these rituals. And I noticed that when we were in an English classroom, after they would introduce themselves, they would translate their cultures into English. So they would say, my name is so and so, I like this, I am part of this club, I am this many years old, and I'm studying this. And then they would end that with, it's nice to meet you. And they wouldn't sit back down until you said back, it is nice to meet you too. And so it was very structured, and it follows that linear pattern that they have throughout their whole culture. Another one of their cultural rituals would be when they eat. So before you eat, you always say itadakimasu, and then you eat your food. And then when you are finished eating, you say, like, that was very good, I'm done with my food, in Japanese, of course. So even the food and the way that you eat the food and the order that you do things in is very ritualistic. And so I found that as a foreigner looking in, that was really interesting to me because no matter where I go, it's uniform. Every time you do this. So that was something that, yeah, it was really interesting to me. Another small and kind of little minute cultural difference is the amount of personal space that people have between each other. I noticed this when we went to a international students weekend on one of the mountains here. We stayed with all the international students, and the boundaries are interesting because in Japan they have public bathing called onsen, and so all of the girls bathe together and all of the guys bathe together. And so there's no boundaries between seeing each other when you're bathing, but there are boundaries when you, like, if you were to hug someone. I know in the US, like, I have a lot of friends that when they leave, I give them a hug, or when I see them, I give them a hug. Like, hugs are not uncommon in the United States. Whereas here, you don't give hugs. I actually have to ask, and then it's very awkward, and it's not necessarily something that most people do. We have asked, and they said most people will never hug. And so that's something that is a big difference for me to get used to. I say goodbye to my friends. I say see them later. I'll see you guys later, and we don't hug. We just kind of bow and walk away. And so that was definitely another minute cultural difference that I was very surprised by. All right, that is all I have for now. It was wonderful talking to you guys, and I hopefully will talk to you in, I believe, just a couple days. I have another video I'll be posting. So until then, I will see you guys later and have a great day.